Hi guys, this is Vineet and I welcome you to this video. Today's video topic is column sets in SQL Server. Before we proceed ahead, I would request you guys to please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. There's a subscribe button below this video. Click on that subscribe button. It will give you a bell icon. Click on that bell icon, select all notifications to get notifications regarding all my future videos. So let me give you 5 seconds. So please go ahead and subscribe right away. So guys, I hope you must have subscribed by now to my channel. So we can proceed ahead. Today's topic is column sets in SQL Server. Before we proceed ahead with this video, there are some points to remember while watching this video. Please watch this video till the end to gain better clarity of the concept, and if it's possible for you, please watch this video twice or as many times as you like until the concept gets clear to you. We would suggest you to perform any exercises in your test and lab environments only. Do not touch any production environments for any practicals taught during this video. And third point is that we would like to know your thoughts regarding our videos. So please share in your comments, feedbacks and suggestions. We eagerly wait for them and would love to read the same. We have created some playlists for you to watch. If we talk about this video pertains to the SQL Server tables playlist and the SQL Server database design playlist. The reason we create playlists for you is because we feel that playlists are best way to learn instead of watching videos randomly. So for example, if you want to learn about SQL Server tables, what we would suggest is go to the SQL Server tables playlist and watch out all the videos from starting till the end to gain better clarity in that particular areas. Some of our popular playlists are database design, tables, business continuity, indexes, performance tuning, integration services, and transact SQL. There are more than 250 videos posted on our channel, so you can watch them out. The link for all these playlists are given in the video description area for this video. Please check out whatever playlist is relevant for you. Check out that playlist. And apart from that, my channel page link is also there in the video description area, which is also given at the bottom of this slide. Now let's come back to today's topic, which is column sets in SQL Server. So guys, before you watch this video, I would highly recommend you to watch my previous video, which is Sparse Columns in SQL Server, because this video is interrelated to that video, because column sets are made of sparse columns only. So it's essential to watch the previous video, Sparse Columns. So let me proceed ahead. This will be a mix of theoretical and demos. First we will cover the theoretical part, then we will come over to the demo sessions. So let me take you to notes quickly. Alright, so today we are covering column sets. So basically tables that use sparse columns can designate a column set to return all sparse columns in a table. So basically we can define a column set for many of the sparse column in the table, and a column set basically returns all the sparse columns in a table if we define one. Alright, so if we define a column set, it will retrieve information from all the sparse columns in a table. If we talk about a column set, it's an untyped XML representation that combines all the sparse columns of a table into a structured output. So whenever we query a column set, it provides us an data in the form of XML. It's an XML representation which basically combines the data from all the sparse columns of a table into a structured output. We will shortly see what do we get when we query a column set. So stay in tune. Alright, next point is that a column set is like a calculated column. So in our earlier videos, we have talked about the computed columns or calculated columns. A column set is somewhat similar to the calculated column. Similarity in the sense that a column set is not physically stored in the table. So if we talk about the column set, it is not physically stored within the table itself, just like the computed column. A column set differ, but there's a difference between a column set and a computed column or calculated column. So a column set basically differs from a calculated column in the sense that we can directly update the column set. However, we cannot update any computed column directly. Alright. But in the case of column set, we can update the column set directly. That's the difference between the column set and the calculated column. Now we should consider using the column sets when the number of columns in a table is large. So when there are so many sparse columns in a table, we should consider using the column sets. And basically when the number of columns or sparse column in a table are large and operating on them individually is cumbersome, then we consider using the column sets. And if we talk about the applications, they might see performance improvement when they select and insert data by using the column sets on tables. So basically, the benefit of column set is that applications might see some performance improvements whenever they use column sets instead of using the individual sparse columns on tables that have a lot of columns. Alright, so sometimes we gain some performance benefits, or applications can gain performance benefit whenever they use column sets instead of working with the individual sparse columns. However, the performance of column sets can be reduced when many indexes are defined on the column in the table. So this is a point where the performance can be impacted. If there are columns in the table where many indexes are defined, then the performance of column sets can be reduced in that scenario. And this is because the amount of memory that is required for an execution plan basically increases. To find a column set, we use the column set name, and we use the notation for all sparse columns keywords in a create table or alter table statement. We will shortly show you how to create a column set. Now let's talk about guidelines for using the column sets. Okay, so what are these guidelines? Now, whenever you use a column sets, consider using the following guidelines. So first guideline is that sparse columns and a column set can be added as a part of same statement. So we can use a same statement to add a sparse column and as well as the column set. We will show you shortly how to do that. And if we talk about a column set, it cannot be added to a table. So we cannot add a column set in a table if that table already contains sparse columns. So by this statement we means if sparse columns are already there in the table, we cannot add a column set to that table. The only situation where we can add a column set to a table is whenever we are creating a table that does not have a sparse columns, and we are adding sparse columns at the time we are creating a column sets. So basically column sets are introduced along with the sparse column when creating a table or altering a table. And if sparse columns are already present in a table and later on we are altering a table to add a column set, that is not possible. Now the column set column cannot be changed or renamed. So once the column set column is defined, it cannot be changed or we cannot rename it. And basically to change a column set, you must delete the created columns. So if we want to rename or change the column set, the only way is to delete all the sparse columns from the table and recreate all the sparse column along with the column set. Now columns with the sparse keyword can be added and dropped from the table. Yeah, if we just want to add the sparse columns, we can do that anytime. A column set can be added to a table. So here we are talking about the situation columns with a sparse keyword can be added and dropped from the table. So if a column set is already defined, later on we can add sparse columns to that particular table. That is possible. Now column set can be added to a table that does not include any sparse columns. So this should be the criteria. A column set can only be added to a table which does not have any sparse columns. And if sparse columns are later added to a table, they will appear in the column set. So there's a possibility of adding the sparse columns later if we define a column set on a table, or if a column set already exists on a table, we can later on add the sparse columns in that particular table. And if we talk about the column set, only one column set is, and a column set is basically optional and is not required to use the sparse columns. So basically we can use sparse column without the column set as well. But yeah, if we want to use the column set, we can do so. That gives the XML representation for those sparse columns. And if we talk about constraints and default values, they cannot be defined on the column set. So we cannot define any constraints or any default values on a column set. Computed columns cannot contain column set columns. So if we are creating any computed columns via the code, these computed columns cannot contain any column set columns. And distributed queries are not supported on tables that contain column sets. So if a table contains some column sets, distributed queries on those tables are not possible. Guys, we will talk about distributed queries in some of our later videos or upcoming videos. So stay in tune. Please get subscribed to our channel, as this channel is very useful for you. We create very useful content for SQL Server enthusiasts and the people who are working in SQL Server domain. So please subscribe right away. All right, let's move on to next point. So replication does not support column sets. So if we are using replication on certain tables, the replication does not support column sets. So in order for replication to work, your table should not include any column sets in them. And if we talk about the change data capture feature, it does not support the column sets. We will talk about this feature later in our upcoming videos. What is change data capture? We'll create a separate video on that. However, if we talk about this feature, this does not support the column sets. And next point is a column set cannot be a part of any kind of index. So we cannot define an index on a column set. And this includes XML indexes and full text indexes as well. So basically column set is an XML representation, but yeah, still we cannot create any type of index including any XML indexes or full text indexes or any of the index views on the column set. A column set cannot be added as an included column in any indexes. So whenever we create an index on certain column, we cannot include the column set column in the include statement. So it cannot be used as a part of included columns in any of the indexes. And a column set cannot be used in a filtered expression of a filter index. That's also a criteria. If you want to know about the filter indexes, you can check out my indexing playlist where we talked about the filter indexes, how we create and use them. So please check that video out. And basically, if we talk about the column set, that column set cannot be used in any of the filtered expressions of a filter index. And when a view includes a column set, so whenever we create a view that also includes the column set appears in the view as the XML column. All right. And a column set cannot be included in index view definition. So if we talk about the index view definition, the column set cannot be included. But if we talk about the plain view without any indexes, yeah, your column set can appear as a XML column. Now let's talk about partition views that include tables that contain column sets are updatable. So if we talk about the partition views, we will talk about them in much detail in our upcoming videos about the partition views. For now, just remember that partition views that include tables that contain column sets are updatable basically when the partition view specifies the sparse column by name. So we need to specify to a sparse column by name using the column sets if we want to update them. A partition view is not updatable when it references the column set. Now query notifications that refer to column sets are not permitted. So we cannot use any of the query notifications that basically refers to any of the column sets. These queries notifications are not permitted. And XML data, we talk about SQL Server, our XML data has a size limit of 2 GB. And if the combined data for all the non-null sparse column in a row exceeds this limit, the 2 GB limit, the query or DML operation will produce an error. Now let's talk about guidelines for selecting the data from a column set. How should we select the data from a column set? There are certain guidelines regarding that. So following are the guidelines that must be followed while selecting data from a column set. So what are these guidelines? So conceptually, a column set is a type of updatable computed XML column that aggregates a set of underlying relational columns into a single XML representation. So basically, a column set is an XML representation which represents data from multiple sparse columns, which are basically relational columns. The column set only supports the all sparse columns property. It cannot be defined on an individual sparse column. but instead all the sparse columns should be included in a column set. So it only supports the all sparse column property. And this property is used to aggregate all non-null values from all the sparse columns in a particular row. So any non-null values in a sparse columns are included in a particular row in a column set. Now in the SQL Server Management Studio Editor, column sets are displayed as an editable XML field. Define column sets in the format column name 1 value in the closing tag, column name 2 the value and the closing tag for column name 2. This is the representation which will show you up in the SQL Server Management Studio Editor. Column sets are displayed in this notation basically. So another example is this. This is the abstract notation. If we talk about specific example, this is the one sparse prop 1 and 10 is the value for this field, and sparse property 3, the value is 20 for that field. And another example is this doc title bicycle part list and the region is west. This is the data being displayed in a column set. Now sparse columns that contain null values are omitted from the XML representation. So if any of your sparse columns contain any null values, those are basically omitted from any XML representation of a column set. So columns with the null values are not included during the XML representation of a column set. Now let's talk about one of the warnings. Adding a column set changes the behavior of select star queries. So if there is a column set defined on a table, so it will change the behavior of any select star queries that will perform on that particular table. The query will return the column set as an XML column. So that particular query will return the column set as an XML column and not return the individual sparse columns. So whenever the column set is defined on a table and we run the select star query, it will not return any sparse column, but it will definitely return the column set column whenever we use star with the select statement. Now schema designers and software developers must be careful not to break the existing applications. So we should be concerned with that if a column set is being used in the table. And whenever we want to use the select star queries, that select star queries will not return any sparse columns. Individual sparse column can still be queried by name in the select statement. So if we want to query any individual sparse columns that contain the that are in a table that contain a column set, we should refer to those sparse columns by using the name specifically instead of using the star notation. So this is the item you need to keep in mind. Now let's talk about inserting and modifying the data in a column set. How do we insert and modify the data in a column set? The data manipulation of a sparse column can be performed by using the name of the individual column. So one way is that we can use the name of the individual column or individual sparse column to manipulate the data in that column. And we can also the name of the column set. Another way to do the data modification is to reference the name of the column set and specifying the values of the column set by using the XML format of the column set. So one way is that we can directly modify the sparse column. Second way, we can use a column set to modify that particular sparse column by specifying the value of the column set by using the XML format of the column set. We will show you shortly how to do that. Now sparse columns can appear in any order in the XML columns. So we will also show you that how to do that. So this definition basically says that sparse column can appear in any order in the XML column. Now when sparse column values are inserted or updated by using the XML column set or using the column set, the values that are inserted into the underlying sparse columns are implicitly converted from the XML data type. So if we talk about the column set, it's of XML data type, right? And if we want to insert any individual values into a sparse column using the column set, those values get implicitly converted from the XML data type into the associated column data type. Now in the case of most numerical data types, including the big int, small int, tiny int, bit, float and real, a blank value in the XML for the column converts into an empty string. So if an empty value is supplied and the original sparse column has a data type of big int or any of these data types, that blank value gets converted into an empty string. This causes a 0 to be inserted into the column. So once the empty string is generated, it is converted into the 0 and stored in the individual sparse columns, as shown in the following example. However, the substitution to 0 does not apply to the numerical and decimal data types. So for numerical and decimal data types, this substitution is not applicable. Substitution to 0 is not applicable. And these values must be specified or cause a conversion error. So we cannot use blank values with the numerical and decimal columns. So here is an example where we are inserting values into a table. So we have created a table T, and the first column is a sparse column, which is I, and we have created a XML type, another column CS, which is of XML type, and this is a column stat, and for all sparse column is the clause specified. So this is a table definition, and we are inserting data into the XML column directly, right? We are using this statement, and we are inserting the value. We are inserting an I tag, right? And that is a closing tag, and we are using select I from this particular table, and but we have not inserted any value into it. And if we run the above statements, if we run the above code example, no value was specified for the column I. So we haven't specified any column for I during the insertion. So, but the value 0 was inserted automatically because it is taking the empty value. So 0 was inserted automatically into the I column, which is integer column. Now, let me take you through some of the demos. So first demo is how to create a table that has a column set. So let's trigger SQL Server and be ready to write some code along with me. It's better to practice code by writing them along with me on a sample database. So I've triggered SQL Server. Let's see when it opens. So guys, SQL Server is up and running. Let me connect to it. I think I have opened 2 instances of SQL Server. So let me close one of them. Alright, so one instance is open, and here we will use the AdventureWorks 2022 database. In my system, I had renamed it to my AdventureWorks. So in your system, it must be with the name AdventureWorks 2022 if you have installed it correctly. It's the AdventureWorks 2022 is a sample database which you can download from Microsoft website. So you can Google it as well, how to install the AdventureWorks 2022 database. So this is the same database. So let me trigger a new query against this database. Here we will show you, we're going through the first demo on how to create a table that has a column set. And the example which I'm showing you creates a table that uses a sparse column, and it also includes a column set. And this example will also insert 2 rows into a table and then select the data from that particular table. Now let's write in some code. So the code is you can start with create table. So we are creating a table, and here I'm mentioning the table name as document store with column set. That is my table name. You can keep table name as per your requirements. That's up to you. I'm using this particular table name document store with column set, and let's put some columns into them. So I'm taking doc ID, which is an integer primary key column. And second column I'm taking is the title, which is the title of the document. Let's take varchar 200 for that, and this will not be a null column. So let's specify not null along with that, and then give the production specification column, and let's take it as varchar 20. You can choose columns as per your requirement. It's not essential, but yeah, if you are following this practical, just create the same column. So the third column I'm creating is production specification, which is of varchar 20 data type, and this is a sparse column indicated by sparse keyword here, and it can contain null. So we need to explicitly specify null. That's a good practice along with the sparse columns. Let's define another column, which is production location, and let's take it as small int type, and this will also be a sparse column, and it will contain the null values. It can contain the null values. Let's create another column which is marketing survey group, and this will be of varchar 20. So varchar 20 data type, and this will also be a sparse column and specify null along with it. Let's take marketing program ID. This will be of integer type and sparse column as well. And let's take it as it will contain null values. Let's specify that. And now I'm defining a column set. So let's take it name as special purpose columns. You can take any name you want. I'm taking special purpose columns. And your column set will be of XML type. You need to specify that it's a column set by using this keyword column underscore set. And you need to define extra keywords for all sparse columns. This need to be specified. So now our table definition is complete. This is the complete table definition. And we should execute these statements to create this particular table. All right, let's execute it. So it is saying some incorrect syntax. Not sure why. Let me check on that. So this bracket is extra. We should remove that. So this is the correct table definition syntax. Let's execute it to create it. So it is saying the incorrect syntax near the all sparse columns. So let's see what that's. Why is it incorrect? We need to check that. So the column name is correct, XML is correct, column set is correct as well. For statement is correct, and all sparse columns double n is there, so you need to remove n. Now let's execute this statement. Now our table is created with some sparse columns and a column set. Now our first demo is complete, and let's move on to next demo. We will insert some data into a table using the name of the sparse columns. So we will use the same table that we have created. So let's use this table. Let's move into demo 2. We will insert data into a table using the name of the sparse columns. So in order to insert the data, we use the insert statements. So you need to specify insert. Along with that, you need to specify the table name where you are inserting the values. So put a space in between. And you need to specify the columns where you want to insert the data. So let's insert the data into the doc ID column and the title column. The first two columns are not sparse columns. The other one I'm specifying are sparse columns. So production specification is one of them, and the production location is one of them. So both the production specification and production location are sparse columns. And after specifying the insert header, you need to specify the values you want to insert into that particular table. So for doc ID, I'm specifying 1. And for title, let's specify tire specification 1. You can use any string, that's up to you. Now for production specification, I'm specifying some string. You can use any string you want, and that's up to you. And for production location, I'm specifying 27. So this is the value I'm inserting into that. So this is how you insert the values directly into the sparse columns. So let's execute this statement. So if I take a look at result, one row is inserted. Let's insert another row, another set of values. So let's insert 2. And let's take survey 2142 for the title. And let's take men 25 to 35 for the production specification. And for production location, I'm not specifying any string. So that should be inserted as 0 because it's an integer column. It should give the 0 value because we are not inserted anything, or we are inserting a blank value into that particular column. Or maybe let's not take that column altogether. Let's insert only 3. Let's, instead of taking the production specification, let's take another column. Let's insert the values into the marketing survey group. So I'm inserting values into these 3 columns. These 3 values I'm inserting there. Out of these 3 columns, only the marketing survey group is sparse column. Another 2 are the normal columns or relational columns. Let's execute this statement. Now another row is inserted into that table. Now the second demo is complete. Let's see what other demos do we have. So the third demo is to insert data into a table by using a column set. So far we have seen that how you can directly insert data into the sparse columns. But now we will show you how you can insert data by using the column sets. by using the name of the column set, or you can insert the data. Now let me show you that third demo. So go to SQL Server. Let's use another insert statement. We will use the name of the table. So name of the table is document store with the column set. Let's use the column stock ID, the title. These two columns are not the sparse columns. And the third column, which is the special purpose column here, is the column set column defined here, right? Let's use that column. All right. So here we are using a document set to update any or insert values into the sparse columns. So let's insert the values. Let's take 3 for the doc ID, and for title, I'm checking the tire specification 2. And for the special purpose column, it's an XML type column. So you need to put data in a specific format. So you need to specify an XML string here. So let's specify XML strings are basically string containing the tags. So you need to specify the name of the sparse column in the Angular bracket. So let's insert the value into production specification. So let's take that, put that into an Angular bracket. And you need to specify the value. Let's take the value AXR or AXW9R411. Let's take this value. You can take any value you want. Then after that, you need to close that particular tag, which is production specification. And you can put a / for the closure to indicate the closure tag. This is the one value you have specified. One column you are updating. If you want to update another column, you can include that as well. Now let's try to update the production location as well, or insert value into the production location column. So copy that column and put that into the Angular bracket. Put that column in and specify the value for that column. Let's take 38 as the location. You can choose any value you want, and close this particular tag for production location. And this is the second column we are inserting the value under. So the tag is complete. Close the bracket. So this is how you can use the column set, which is special purpose column, and you define the individual sparse columns by using the tags. These are the sparse columns indicated by tags here, and you specify the columns in between those tags, the closing tag and the opening tag. Let's insert the value, and this time we have used the column set to insert the values into the sparse columns. Let's execute it. Now our row is inserted. So the third demo is complete, guys. Please go through a demo again if you are not very clear, or go through the video again if it's not very clear to you. Although I was very clear and concise on this. Now let's move on to fourth demo, which is how to observe the result of a column set when select star is used. So earlier we talked whenever the select star is used, the sparse columns are not returned, and only the column set is returned instead of the individual sparse columns. So let's see that observation. Let's delve into the fourth demo. Go to SQL Server. Now what we will do, we will select star. Instead of using select star, let's let's specify the individual column. So let's specify the doc ID. We want to select the doc ID from this particular table, doc ID, and then we need to take the title. These two columns are not sparse columns. And let's take a column set which is special purpose columns. We are taking these columns from document store with column sets, right? So let's execute this statement. This statement is not returning any sparse columns individually. Let's execute this statement. So you get result in this format. The third column is a column set which is an XML representation showing us the data here. So we can expand that and we can check that. We can click on it to get the data. So this is the data we are getting for individual columns. All right. So let's move on to and if we use the select star against the table, let's see what columns are returned. Let's see if any sparse columns are returned individually. So whenever we do select star from this, none of the sparse columns get returned, but the column set do get returned. So only 3 columns got returned, and the other 4 sparse columns are not returned individually whenever we use the select star notation. All right. So we are done with this fourth demo. We have observed the result of a column set when select star is used. Now let's observe the result of selecting the column set by name. So let's go through this fifth demo. So we will use the column set by name. Earlier also we had used the column set by name. So this was the column set name. Let's try to use another example again. Actually, this was the example where we used the column set name. So we can run the same statement, but we will define some additional clauses as well. So let's take a clause where the production specification is not null. This is the filtering criteria I'm using. So yeah, this is how you use the name of the column set, or here is how you can use the column set to return the result by using the column set name by name. All right, so these are the two items that return for which the production specification is not null. For one of the rows, the production specification is null. So that's why the row was not returned. And let's move on to next demo. Observe the result of selecting sparse columns by name. So let me show you how you can select individual sparse column from a table. Let's go through this demo. Select doc ID, which is not a sparse column. Title is also not a sparse column. Let's take some sparse column, which is production specification is one of the sparse columns. Production location is one of the sparse columns. And let's take these two sparse columns and other two non-sparse columns from document store with columns set table, and specifying a filter criteria where the production specification is not null. So this is the notation where I'm not using a document set column here, but instead I'm using these two sparse columns to get the information directly. And this comma is not required, and we can run this statement to get the data directly from the sparse columns. So here we have not used the column set. So we are done with this demo, guys, and let's move on to next demo, which is how you can update a table by using a column set. That's another example I need to take you through. So let's go to the SQL Server. So let's update the, here I'm updating the table, which is a document store with column set. I'm setting the column, which is a column set defined by this special purpose columns. And I can update the statement here. And I'm checking, I'm updating the row where the doc ID is 3. So I can specify that notation. And let's update the values. So right now, if I take a look, the doc ID 3 has this data, right? So I'm changing that particular data. What I'm doing is I'm taking this value in the next line. Let's use angular bracket and change the production specification number. So let's change production specification, specify the value. Let's change it to ZC285W. So earlier it was AXW 9R411. So I'm changing that value, and you need to close the tag as well. So production specification need to be closed with the /. Now this is closed, and let's modify the value of one or more column. Let's change the production location to 39 maybe. So specify production location, close the bracket, specify 39, use another pair of angular brackets and close this particular tag by using a /. So this is how you can run the statement to update any particular columns by using the column set. You need to specify the data in the XML notation. So this is done. Now if you run this statement, you will see the data. The third row is updated with the updated values here, this one and this one. I think we are done. We have shown you all the examples. There were 7 demos that we have taken you through. Please go through this video again and practice the demo we have discussed in this video. Also go through the theoretical stuff as well. Today we have discussed about the column sets, and we provide the general definition, what are column sets, and we talked about the guidelines for using the column sets, and then we talked about guidelines for selecting data from the column sets. And finally, we have taken you through some of the example on how to insert and modify data in the tables containing the sparse columns and the column sets. We have shown you both the scenarios, how to use the column sets to update any values, or how to use column sets to select the data from a table. And we have also shown you how you can work with sparse columns directly without using the column sets. So I hope you like this video, guys. If you really like this video, please click on the like button below this video. And if you have clicked on the like button, there's a subscribe button right next to it. So click on the subscribe button. It will give you a bell icon. Click on that bell icon, select all notifications to get notifications regarding all my future videos. Our next video will be on the table valued parameters. And the title of the next video will be table valued parameters. So stay tuned. That's why I'm asking you to subscribe. I will be releasing many videos soon. There will be lots of stuff on SQL Server to cover, especially on tables. And after table values parameters, we will cover the primary keys, foreign keys, etc. Basically, that is a part of table design. So stay tuned, say subscribe, do post in your comments, feedback and suggestions. And guys, do share my videos with your friends and ask them to subscribe to my channel if they are working in SQL Server domain. And if you feel my channel is useful for them and I create useful videos for you, please do share in my videos with them and ask them to subscribe to my channel. I thank you so much for your time on this video today, guys, and you have a wonderful day ahead.